And when you knock us down, we're going to get up. And on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
Go ahead and say it, Ed. Go Tigers!
When I woke up this morning, I was feeling pretty dangerous.
You like that? You like that?
F it. Jamar's down there somewhere.
The New Orleans Saints select Marcus Davenport.
No!
Splash Brothers. Yeah.
It's playoff. Keep going, Brace.
The playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
Pretty much 24/7, 365. Like in July, I'm on there just tweeting about the Warriors, talking about the free agents and everything like that. And I brought in two guys that do pretty much the same thing. So guys, say what's up.
What's up, man? It's Joku, loudmouth Draymond from Twitter. Been a Warriors fan for about 11 years. Steph and Dray, they changed it all for me, made me fall in love with the game. Yeah, I'm pretty much a diehard Draymond defender as well.
Amen.
But yeah, thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
What's up, y'all? This is Ro. Where's the ball? 97 from Twitter. I've been a Warriors fan since I don't know, like the late, like Monte Ellis, or at least Stephen Curry days, like way back when. And I grew up in the Bay. Also, I'm so sorry for my voice right now. It's still recovering.
Oh, it's good.
But
It's good.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad that you brought in, like, you're bringing in a totally different perspective to this because, like you said, you're from the Bay and you've had more, I guess, you've been through the rough times while me and Joku didn't really do that. Like, we came in right at the start of the dynasty. Yeah, there was 1 or 2 years where we lost, I think it was the Spurs and then like the Clippers, but, you know, it wasn't as much of a struggle as the We Believe teams and like Steph's rookie contract and stuff like that. So, yeah, we're going to get into this, though. I think we're going to start off with the news that happened. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday, I think. No, Saturday.
Saturday.
Which is Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins getting new contracts. Jordan Poole signed 4 years, $140 million, $123 million guaranteed. Some of the incentives for that are ridiculous. Like, I think Defensive Player of the Year was one of them. That's not happening with Poole at all. And then Wiggins signed for 4 years, $109 million. What do y'all think about this?
I just feel this is the start of the continuation of the world's greatest dynasty. Like, I don't think people are understanding what this team is doing. You know, we got Wiggins in the prime of his career taking pay cuts just to keep this team together. Then we got the emerging Jordan Poole. He go get this bag. He deserve it. Now with Jordan, it's all about keeping that defense up, getting it up, so we can say you worth that contract. Because I'm gonna be real, I'm not giving you 140 if you can't stay on the floor in the postseason. So now it's time for him to take a leap in defense and just be able to close some games out just in case we need them to.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point you mentioned. Is like while Poole's became an electric scorer, like one of the most electric in the league, honestly, in my opinion. His defense is just about as bad as his offense is good. Yeah. But one of the things that I've seen, it was the preseason, but like he whenever they were in Japan, he showed effort. Like whenever he was out there,
that's all.
Now he might not have been necessarily locked down or good, but he was trying. And sometimes that's all you need.
You know what this reminds me of? This sort of reminds me of I don't remember how many games like Wiggins played in like the 2019-20 season before COVID hit.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like the defense that he played back then, where you could tell it was like where you could tell he was trying, but he wasn't like a lockdown defender. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And like based on like Jordan, like that kind of money, it's like big money, right? You're pretty much like declaring that, like, oh, like even if you guys watch like yesterday pressers, you could tell that like Jordan knew that like he was pretty much being handed the keys to the Warriors,
Yeah.
and like I'd be hesitant to give that kind of money to like anybody. You know what I mean? But like with Jordan, he's like improved like every single year, and his work ethic has been raved on by like everybody from like Kerr to Lacob to like Myers to like Steph and all those guys. So, and like Kerr's been talking about his defense for like ages now. Like I think this came up like last year when he made like, the offensive lead,
Yeah.
and then like that's when Kerr was like, "Oh, like, Jordan needs to like improve on defense." So like he has that at the back of his mind. I think it's just like a matter of like reps with him now.
Yeah, and I think the point you brought up about Wiggins was really good because yeah, he played probably like 15, 20 games maybe before the COVID took out the season. But yeah, he whenever he stepped in, like you could just see Wiggins was gonna fit with the culture. And like you could just see a difference in his game. And yeah, the defense wasn't there yet, but once you gave it another year, and I think that next year was the play-in year where it wasn't like the defense wasn't what it was last year, but it wasn't what he was in Minnesota. He was definitely a better defender. And whenever you have Draymond Green in your locker room and on your team, your defense is going to get better. It just is. And having Iggy around the team last year and this year, you saw it take even more of a step. And I don't think that Iggy gets enough praise, honestly, for what he does to the team.
100%.
100%.
And so yeah, let's talk about Wiggins' contract, which I think might be one of the biggest bargains in the NBA. So 4 years, 109 million. The dude literally was the second best player in the finals last year. And if Steph wasn't ungodly out there, then Wiggins probably gets finals MVP.
100%.
It literally just took Steph. I mean, what he put up incredible numbers in 5 of the 6 games, while Wiggins was consistently not even in just the finals through the entire postseason. He was playing on the best opposing player. I mean, you saw what he did to Luka. Yeah, Luka still got his, but it wasn't a normal Luka series,
Yeah.
Wiggins, man, he was incredible, and I think this contract, especially in 2 years when the salary cap jumps, it's going to be such a freaking good deal.
Yeah. You know what this reminds me of? Like this Wiggins, like not really like the contract, but just him like taking a pay cut and then kind of like saying like, hey, like Jordan's getting like a bigger bag than me and like I'm okay with it. You know what this kind of reminds me of? It's like the Iggy situation when he came here from like Denver.
Yeah.
Like when Kerr was like, "Oh yeah, you gotta like come off the bench."
Yes.
He kind of like struggled with that at like the beginning or whatever, but like he accepted that role and he thrived in it.
And I think he told Kerr, if I do this, I better get an effing ring or something like that. So, and he ended up getting 4 of them from us. So hopefully a 5th on the way.
For sure.
Yeah, I think that whenever he got the max contract from Minnesota, or I believe it was the rookie max at least, that whenever that got traded to us, and he had that life-changing money, and then he came to a place that changed his NBA career and made it like he's living up to the number one overall pick potential now. And I think he just saw that, I could take probably probably near 50 million more and go play for a garbage team and just get money and probably not win anything else in my career. Or I can stay in this like incredible organization that has been doing this for 10 plus years now and compete while still making incredible money. Like people talk about the culture of the Warriors. That's it right there. There's nothing else you got to show.
Sure.
Right. The culture of the Warriors, I think it revolves around like one word: sacrifice. Like Iggy sacrifices like starting spot or whatever back then to take on a 6-man role because that's what helped like us to win. Right? Steph sacrificed like big chunks of money to take on the 4 for 44 contract back
Yeah.
then because that set us up to like get Durant in like the next offseason or whatever.
I think Clay took a pay cut too after before because he got the big max like the year he tore his
His
ACL, I
ACL.
think. Because I think before
Yeah.
that he hadn't really cashed out, and that's why he got such a big bag even after the injury.
Yeah, I think even Draymond's arguably been like the Pippen to like Steph's MJ, right?
Yes.
For most of his like pretty much since he got drafted, or like since Kerr started playing him or whatever.
Yeah.
But like he took on like a lesser role, or like not lesser role, like lesser money compared to like Clay getting paid like 40 million for like rehab, which I'm not like blaming it on, but like again, it all comes back to like sacrifice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and another sacrifice is what Steph did during the postseason this year. He came off the bench. Like there's very few superstars in the NBA, and it's hard to even call Steph just a superstar. Like he's arguably the face of the NBA, and he came back and sacrificed the starting spot for a playoff team, and said, "Yeah, this little 23-year-old, I think Jordan Poole is, he can go start for me." And he was okay with it. And then Steph came off the bench, got his still, let JP go and shine while he was in the starting position, put up crazy numbers, and then he got right back at it. Like it's really hard to compare what the Warriors culture is. Like I don't think there's another team in sports that does it like them.
They 101. And I love that about the Golden State Warriors. I just love the way they carry themselves. The culture is just unbelievable. Now, no, we got more young talent coming up, embracing this culture. It's just amazing because the young guys with this culture, it's something going to be. It's just going to be amazing. Like
it really is.
Sky's the limit. Sky's the limit for everybody or the young guys.
And everyone that we bring in just like fits seamlessly with the team. Like you don't really have any concerns. Well, I guess people said that Kuminga has some work ethic issues or something like that, but I don't really see that, and it doesn't really seem to be a problem on the court or necessarily off the court, really, from what I've seen. But when you look at like Moses Moody, that dude's a warrior, just straight up. He is.
Yeah,
100%.
Got that dog in him, man. I love Moody. And with Kuminga, I don't see like only thing I can really see like that's slacking is his off-ball awareness. That's really the only thing. He fixed his free throw shooting. He became a better free throw shooter. He learned in the system. He's a better cutter. His on-ball defense is good. I'm not going to say great, but it's good for him to be a 19-year-old. I'm at 20 now, right?
Yeah, I think he just turned 20.
Yeah, 20-year-old. And the three ball is constantly developing. I see it. I just know this year he's 35% easily from the corner. He's easily a 35% three-point shooter.
And there's going to be better spacing than ever, especially with a healthy Clay.
Better spacing, more space to the lane. Like Kuminga and Wiseman is just going to kill teams.
Yeah.
Kill teams. And they're not even going to. Oh, it's going to be so. It's going to be amazing to see, man.
Yeah, one more contract that shows just the culture of the Warriors is Kevon Looney. He had the postseason of his life. One that a lot of people that weren't Warriors fans or didn't watch the Warriors the past 2 years, like constantly, they would not have expected it. But Loon the past 2 years has developed into something that honestly I never saw coming. Like the first couple years of his career, it didn't look like Looney was going to be anything special. But for him to transform into what he is now, and with the Draymond situation, which we'll get into in a minute, for him to be like one of the leaders of trying to mend the team back together with him and Andre, like That just shows something incredible. And Looney's contract was 3 years, $22.5 million. So about 7.5 a year. That he could have gotten much more on the open market. I really think so, especially after what he did the postseason. And but culture, he came back.
Easily could get 15 million out there. Easily deserve it.
With like this high cap, or I don't even know what to call this. Like Dame's getting 60, Cat's getting 57. Everybody's getting like 30 million, like role players. 15 seems like a low end for Looney. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I honestly can't tell like salaries, like estimate salaries anymore. But yeah, like Looney to me, he was one of the guys like start of like last year. I like sent out a tweet also. He was like one of the guys that like I was super low on. You know, like when they talked about like Miles Turner being like on the trade bug or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, let's like package like Looney and like some other like assets, go get like Miles Turner or whatever. But like I think like what like most of us fail to like recognize is like the locker room presence.
Yeah.
Goes on like behind the scenes. Because Looney's been huge for that, right? Like the Draymond incident, we'll get to that in a bit, but he was like a key block of that. But like aside from that, like last off season, he made a resolution to play all 82 games. He ended up playing more games than any other person in the league. Okay?
And that's for a guy that the first couple years of his career had like pretty big injury problems.
Exactly. Yeah. So like that's huge. Also, I'm not sure if you guys like watched like the latest like stock interview between like Monty and Poole, but they basically like talked to Looney about like, oh, like you had like a rebound, like career rebounding game of like 22 rebounds or something against the Grizzlies. And he was like, yeah, like, you know, like Steph's great with like offense and like off ball and all that stuff. Draymond's great with like defense and stuff like that. I felt like I wanted to contribute in like one aspect. And like rebounding's been like our weak spot like throughout the regular season.
Yeah.
So I wanted to like make that better, pretty much improve that. And that's exactly what he did throughout the postseason. Like most of the so-called analysts, they talked about how we would lose the series because of like, you know, we have like no rebounders or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And Looney's been like a massive part of just like. Also, I feel like his accomplishment as like a bridge between like, you know, like the recent like article where he talked about like, or where Moody talked about how Looney's helped him like, you know, unleash like his athleticism, like emphasizing like yoga and like, you know, the old guys, because he also has like a tremendous amount of respect for Steph, Clay, Draymond, Dray, all those guys. Like he's serving as a bridge pretty much. Like I respect that so much about Looney because he knows how to play his role to like a T.
Yeah, he for sure does. And there's no other player in the NBA that it surprises me none that he does yoga. He just seems like a yoga guy. He really does.
For sure.
And but Looney, the rebounding, I think the rebounding of him and Wiggins in the postseason doesn't get talked about enough. Like them dudes were consistently getting 20, 25 plus boards combined. And we were out rebounding teams almost night in, night out in the postseason. And that literally changed the whole team, really.
And you want to know what's going to make it even crazier? We got better athletes on this team this year.
Yeah.
Rebound.
100%.
Better.
Yeah, I mean Kuminga, he's gonna get some rebounds. Wiseman's a freaking giant. Michael Green, he's gonna be Bielitsa, but physical and better. Like he really is.
Yeah, use him as a lob dancer.
They're gonna get some rebounds, man. It's gonna be there's so little weaknesses to this team.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you guys remember that one game real quick? I think it was against the Pelicans where it was just like Kuminga and he was surrounded by like 4 or 3 other Pelicans, including Valanciunas, who was like an amazing rebounder.
Yeah.
And like Kuminga missed his shot and they kept like going up for like
I remember.
that like hype like Steph up. I think he got like 6 or 5, something like that.
I
Like
think it was
offensive
like
rebounds in the same
4.
possession. Yeah, something like that. But like I think like that's another like aspect of like Kaminga that I feel like we'll see more of this year. Just
Yeah,
like his hustle, pretty much.
especially whenever he's going to be set up on the baseline or in the corner.
Yeah,
He's gonna attack, and he's gonna. I wouldn't be shocked if he comes in and just sneaks in and does a little putback or something like that, because his athleticism,
true.
it's crazy. Like, it really is.
It's out of his.
Yeah. But before we
For
go
sure.
too long into the young guys, I think we need to talk about probably the biggest question mark to the Warrior season, and maybe the biggest question mark there's been in the entire run of this dynasty. And it's the Draymond Green situation. Draymond Green, he came into the Warriors organization the same year that I became a fan. It was not because of him, it was because of Harrison Barnes, but whenever Draymond was drafted, I was like, oh, that's a great pick. And he's been what I've always called the heart and soul of the Warriors. Yes, Steph has been the best player, but I don't think we win without Dray. Yeah, we don't win without Steph. Yeah, we don't win without Clay. But what Dray brings is so unique to not only the Warriors, but to every team in the NBA. Like, there's no one else like him, in my opinion. And now he goes out and punches Jordan Poole in practice. Not a great situation. The video leaks. Twitter goes crazy. The world goes crazy. Rumors get spread everywhere. What is y'all's stance on how this situation has kind of unfolded?
You want to go first? You can go first, bro.
For sure. There were so many wrong things about that moment, and like with like Draymond is the definition of a double-edged sword to me, right? Because what he does for the Warriors is like he helps us win games. He helps us win like series. He helps us win rings, pretty much. But on the other side, he also has cost us series. He's cost us like the like he's cost us like a lot of like games. He's cost us like pretty much like the fight with KD and all that stuff. But aside from that, I feel like this was another example of Draymond just like he's talked about it before too. Like he struggles sometimes to like act like a vet. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Iggy, for example. Iggy's like a natural born vet. He came in, he like bonded with like Steph completely, and then Steph Clay, the young guy, and kind of became like like the middle guy between like him, between like them and the coach. Draymond could be that because he has that IQ. He's one of the smartest players in the league. He's amazing at defense, right? His like vision, like court vision or whatever, is super underrated. But this was another moment where like it was like, oh, like why are you punching like why are you punching your own teammate? Again, you had a bad day, but like anger management, like you're a grown man now. You're 32. You gotta be better with this type of stuff. But at the same time, like I was also like a little pissed about just like the video leak because like to me like that video leak like started like the whole like like outcry among like the media.
Yeah,
And then
for
we have
sure.
like so-called analysts who like start like making up theories about like the Warriors, like the internal strife, which adds like external pressure unnecessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the problem that I had was like the timing of it all was so like it kind of just like came out of nowhere because they came back from Tokyo and like the Tokyo games, like he looked fantastic.
Yes,
He had like 2 of his threes, I believe. I don't remember like the exact stat line, but he played like really good defense. He was like vibing on offense, defense, playmaking. I was like, huh, like maybe this Draymond might get like a decent amount of bag, like decent bag or whatever. But then he comes around and does this kind of stuff, which kind of like it like at that point, like as a fan, even like you're kind of like pissed off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think like if him like the thing, I'm not quite sure if like how the Warriors handle the situation was like good or not. But to me, like Draymond's huge for a championship run like this year, especially if we're trying to repeat. We need his defense. We need his IQ. We need like his leadership pretty much in the locker room and on the court, right?
Yep.
That's where like the question mark starts to come in because like his leadership is like unmatched because like the young guys like they respect him, but at the same time like it's sort of like it's a different kind of respect than like oh like Jordan has for like Steph or like Jordan has for like Iggy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's more like oh like this is Draymond, like he's gonna yell at you. And like even Clay said this like if you get like pissed or whatever because like Draymond's yelling at you, then like you don't belong here or some shit like that. So, sorry, or like some stuff like that. But I don't know. Like I feel like based on like Jordan's interview and everything, like they seem cool. But Draymond's future is like a huge question mark right now. And like we honestly have no idea what's gonna happen to them future.
It really is, and I think that's something that no one really expected. Especially after, like you said, the Tokyo games, he looked great. Uh, and then it's interesting to look at how you said that he's not necessarily a great leader or mentor off the court, but I think his on court leadership is like unmatched. He does these great things to help out the young guys on the floor. Like you see him even with Poole. You see him talking to Poole and giving him pointers. See him talking to Kaminga. It's a lot like what Iggy does. And but I just don't think I don't know what it is about him, but he doesn't have that. He just doesn't have that off the floor. And yeah, that can cause problems, and it seems like it has. I think deep down though that the Warriors, they have enough just great leaders that are gonna get us through it this year. With like we've mentioned, Looney, Iggy,
Mm-hmm.
Steph, Kerr, who I wouldn't want to have any other coach in the world right now than Kerr. He's amazing, like he really is, and I don't think he gets talked about enough just because so many people say it's just he's on a team that's loaded with talent, but so was Mark Jackson. He coached this team. Kerr took it to another level, and I think his leadership has just been great, especially through these tough times like this. And I really think this year it's not going to be a problem, but is Draymond going to be a big part of the future next year? Maybe because he has the player option, but the year after that, who knows? Honestly.
What I think it really comes down to is if he plays like if he looks good this season, then you got to continue dealing with it. But if he comes into this season and he looking like he's regressing still, if we go to a playoff run, we won it all, but he's still regressing, then he opt in, which I'm assuming he's going to do. You might gotta try to get him on that bench rule because you can't trade him. You can't trade him. How would we look as an organization if we trade a guy who built this dynasty up? We wouldn't that would go away from everything we are, in my opinion. I don't think that's the way to go. But him, he's like that's just Draymond being Draymond, but he crossed the line with that. He crossed the line with that.
He did. And something that I think that the past year, maybe year and a half, I've been looking at the Warriors and I'm like, this team, the way they've drafted, the way they've developed guys like Wiggins, like Poole, like Moody, Kaminga, now Wiseman, the way that they've developed them, it's set up Clay and Dray specifically to seamlessly go to the bench. And maybe not next year, maybe the year after that. I think it'd be a little hard to put Draymond and Clay on the bench next year, but In 2 years when they're 34, 35, 33, something around there, mid 30s, and you've got Jordan Poole coming in at like 25. You've got Wiggins hitting 29 maybe. Kuminga being 22 somehow. He's just incredibly young. When you got those guys reaching the middle of their second contract or nearing the end of their rookie contract, and they've got years under their belt, and they're just more explosive, because that's one thing about Clay and Dray. They're gonna lose their legs the little that they have. Neither it's rare that either really dunk. Dray can get up there a little bit. Clay, it's rare now, but I think both. Dray could come off the bench and kind of like an Iggy role, honestly.
Yeah.
Where he's just like the leader of the second unit. You can stick him in for the last 5 minutes and let him be a lockdown defender of a game. But Clay, I think he can easily switch and go to the bench and just come off the bench and give you a couple shots, hit a couple threes, play 20 minutes. And I think Clay would have no problem with that. Just because that's how Clay is. He's laid back. Right. Clay's gonna be like, oh, I can play less, still make a lot of money, ride my boat, shoot up some threes. Why not? But Dray, I think it's gonna take a little more convincing.
Yeah, his pride is strong, man.
It is.
That's always been a downfall though. His pride, man. But I feel like that might be.
Sorry, Ken.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I feel like pride might be like a problem with both of them, honestly, because both Clay and Draymond are sort of like used to being like the two heads of a like three-headed dragon, right? At this point,
yeah,
like it's always been Steph, Clay, Draymond. Like that's always like I feel like that's a huge problem that like Steve will have to like figure out when the time comes. It probably won't be for another year, maybe like not two, but then when it does come, like like convincing like Clay and Draymond to like go to the bench. Because like they feel like Clay especially, right? Like he's like laid back and stuff like off the court, but on the court, like
he's a killer.
This dude, like, yeah, he thinks he's a superstar, like rightfully so. But I don't know, like that's Steve's problem for now.
Yeah, and something that could help make that easier is let them both start, but have the young guys come off the bench and play more minutes. Instead of Clay and Dray starting and going 35 plus, let them start and go 25 while the other guys go 30, just make it to where they still have the starter tag and maybe they still close, but in the middle, second and third, let the young guys take it. And hey, give them both rest days. Why not? Everyone else does it. So let them rest. Let them play 60 games a year, because we've got the team that they can handle. They can handle the bad days. We used to not have that. If you look at that 73-9 team, like the guys played every night because they had to. The bench wasn't deep like it is now, and it wasn't explosive with young guys. But now, when your 8th through 10th men are Moody and Kuminga and Wiseman, who are lottery picks and some of the most athletic and talented young guys in the NBA, let them guys start some. It ain't gonna hurt nothing. It'll give the old guys some rest, and it'll let the young guys get some starting experience just in case an injury comes up, something like that. And I think we're gonna see that, especially with Clay. I'd be shocked if he plays more than 60 games. Now, Dray, we know how he is, so it's gonna be hard to convince him to not play, but it is what it is. Anything else you want to say about this situation?
I just hope I just hope we get this. I just hope we get it all out the way, man, and we just have a great season. Ring night is tomorrow. I can't wait till we blow the Lakers out, because fuck LA.
Straight up.
And yeah, like I just can't wait for this future, man. This season is here. Second year leap from Kuminga, Moody, second season for Wiseman. Like, this season is about to be a magical season. A magical season.
It really is.
4 All-Stars. Getting 4.
Ooh, who you think?
Ooh, Clay. Nah, Clay. Clay is getting to the All-Star. Steph and Wiggins. Dray's not going to qualify.
And Draymond's going to be pissed off if 4 make it and he don't.
The fans is not giving him that nod. He's not.
That's true. That's
true. I think Draymond will be like a D-boy. Like, he's going to play at a D-boy level, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He needs to, like,
with him, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to stay healthy.
Got to stay, like, focused, like, determined, because that's his biggest thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, 16-game player, but, like, you have to start caring about, like, 82-game at, like, especially when you're, like, working for a contract.
Yeah, and I think that's what we'll see this year. Way more locked in, knowing, like, it's a contract year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the story, it's going to be talked about, of course, this upcoming week, especially with ring night. But I think after, I don't know, a month maybe, it's going to be forgotten until the first time that, like, Draymond and Poole are talking on the bench or something like that, and Draymond's raising his voice or something, and it's just a normal conversation, and someone's gonna clip it, post it on Twitter, and be like, "Oh, what's happening here?"
Nah, you know
that's gonna happen, but it's gonna be nothing. And I think everything's gonna be all right. I really do.
I mean, like, the last, like, preseason game, like, even, like, the media, like, overdoes it. I think, like, Poole just, like, fell. Like, he fell on his shoulder or whatever. It was just, like, an actual fall. And the camera just, like, panned over to Draymond. And, like, I was like, he was on the bench.
and Poole hit, like, a floater, and then he like walked over, and Draymond, like, patted him on the butt or something. I know Wob on Twitter, he put it up there. Like, it's just any little contact that them two make with each other, it's gonna be posted. It's gonna be annoying, but hey,
it is what it is.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to the season. Last year, you know, we got back into the championship run. We got Killa back, Killa Clay. He came back, and I think he was a big boost to getting the team back together. We saw massive steps from Wiggins and from Poole and from Looney. You still had Steph out there being Steph Curry, who he is, top 10 player all time, right?
Mm-hmm.
3.
Top 3?
Yeah, 3.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh.
Then you had Dray being Dray. He wasn't as good, but you know, he still gave you his all and what we needed. I think it was just a great team last year. You know, we lost some pieces in Gary Payton, who kind of came out of nowhere, or not really for Dubs fans, because we knew he had that in him, but he kind of showed the world what he could be. And hey, shout out to him for going and cashing out. All love for him, forever Warrior. Mm-hmm. And same with Otto. Otto came in, and you know, he'd had the talent. Everyone knew that. He had gotten a small bag, or not really small, but small compared to other guys. And, you know, he kind of took a pay cut, just came in and said, hey, I'm going to buy into the culture. And look what he did. He was great, especially in the playoffs. But they're both gone. And same with Bielitsa, who underrated guy in the playoffs, I think. He played great. They're all gone. We bring in some new guys. We got J. Michael Green, who I absolutely love that pickup.
Same. We
got DiVincenzo, who, you know, some people are saying is Gary Payton but can score. I'm not going to go that far, but I think he's going to be great in probably a different way than what Gary Payton is. He's going to guard the backup guards and stuff like that, but you're not going to be able to throw him in and say, hey, guard John Morant, and him lock him down like GP did. And then who else did we bring in?
Iggy back.
Iggy back.
Yeah, Iggy came back again, and that's going to be. I hope we don't see him enough on the that much on the court, as he even said. He was like, if I'm playing, that means Kuminga's not doing his job. It means Moody's not doing his job. So I hope we don't see him much, because we want to see the young guys. And then probably the biggest thing that we brought in is James Wiseman.
Big Jim.
Yeah, Big Jim, man. I think he's going to be absolutely incredible. Everything you saw in the preseason, it just looked like you're watching a number 2 overall pick. Like it really did.
Look like I ain't gonna lie. First overall pick, if you ask me. James Wiseman is the truth. He is the next great NBA center. He might end up becoming the greatest of all time. I see the potential. Like with James Wiseman and Jonathan Kuminga, I'm literally looking at someone that can be better than Wilt Chamberlain. Kareem Abdul, come on. He got a 3-ball. Wilt didn't have no 3.
Hey, that's true. That's true.
Whoa.
Kareem was just doing sky hooks. Big Jim's gonna be throwing up 3s and dunking on you.
He ain't even got it. James Wiseman's gonna be the truth. Then we got Jonathan Kuminga. He reminds me of a hybrid of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. Yeah, like he's just that good. Like
he's a
the
freak.
athleticism is out of this world. The defense is gonna be top tier. He's going to be one of the greatest defenders of all time. He's going to have more defensive players than Draymond Green.
Hey, they never give Dray the awards, so it's not hard to do.
Yeah, but Kuminga is taking them. He's going to be the one taking awards away from everybody. Nobody's eating on his time, man. And it's just going to be amazing seeing them two progress together because I feel as though they're going to be the two that carries this franchise into greater heights.
Yeah, and we talk about those two, while we also have Moses Moody, who is probably the most ready right now.
Yes,
and he was the most ready last year, but he looks even better.
Oh man, Moody,
he really does.
I think for me, I'm not ready to call Wiseman or Kuminga like one of the greatest ever, but to me, what I'm looking for this season is just like small improvements, right? Like Wiseman's played AD before, and let's be real, Wiseman got destroyed because Anthony Davis is one of like the top 75 players, and like everyone has like a different list of that. I feel like Dwight should have been there instead of some people on the list. It's whatever.
Yep.
Like AD's still like from like the greatest players of all time, or like I believe so.
He's one of the greatest talents.
True.
I think he made the list more because of his talent more than his career. Because, and what has he really accomplished outside of the bubble?
I mean, like to me, it also like he's also like a really good like defender. All defense teams, all stars. Like he has everything. He just needs to stay healthy, right? That's like the biggest thing with him. And that sort of like applies to Wiseman also, but like at a much more like raw level. Like Wiseman to me shows like a rookie-ish 80 or whatever. Like he has the size, you know, like he has like a quickness or whatever. Like for me, what I'm looking for like tomorrow, especially since we play them, is I want to see like how he adapts, how much has learned from like his first how much has learned from his like first meeting with AD. Just like small steps like that. And then with Kuminga, I feel like Kuminga, like the 3-shot is sus right now. But more than that, I just want him to like play like his role as like a slasher, occasional like playmaker.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just like make the game easier and like allow both like Wiseman and Kuminga to coexist. Because him at like the 3 wasn't really doing it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think he definitely needs to be a 4. And he needs to be in a role. I'm trying to think of someone similar, but like you said, he needs to slash, he needs to play defense, he needs to shoot a corner 3, and that's pretty much it. Like
basically like what Wiggins is without like plays being ran for him. Like, that's what he basically need to develop into.
Yeah. And I think he can do that. Like you said, just make the game simple for him.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you guys. So, till now, all we've heard, or like basically until like yesterday, all we've heard was like, oh, Kuminga, like we're developing him so that Wiggins becomes like expendable, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But now that Wiggins is signed up for a 4-year contract, it looks like he's a big part of like the future, pretty much. So where do you guys see like that change? Like, does that change your view of like what Kaminga will be in the future?
No, I feel as though what they want, I feel like what Steve vision is, he wants a front court of where he can play Wiggins, Kaminga, and Wiseman all at the same time.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But only way that can work is if Kaminga, he continues to develop the 3 ball and his handle has to improve as a forward. But everything else, I feel as though everything else is steady coming together. Like in a couple 2 more years, I think we're going to see a front court of Wiggins, Wiseman, and Kaminga with a backcourt of Stephen Poole.
See, the thing about that lineup is it's hard to give Steph and Poole the backcourt by themselves just because of their defense. Like, yes, Steph is an above average defender in my opinion, and I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. But at the same time, having 2 6'3" guys that don't really have much weight on them, like that's gonna be rough in the long haul. But having Wiggins and Kaminga and Wiseman, 3 athletic freaks who are long and can honestly switch on anybody, that could help out with that. And yeah, something I see in the near future is Looney takes the bench role, Wiseman takes starter. I think Kaminga could take over Dray's role, but he might be better suited for just coming off the bench and playing more minutes than Dray, but give Dray the starting spot just because of his elite defense and playmaking. And then, same thing you can honestly say with Poole. It's hard to say Poole needs to continue to be a 6 man because he's got to be making 30 million plus a year. But, with the salary cap in today's NBA, 30 million isn't that crazy.
It's not. I mean, the lineup that I see right now is like, okay, based on like what like Monte Ellis said like back in the day or whatever, he was right. Like people get pissed at him for saying that, but like they take it out of context where like they're like, oh, he hated Steph, like he didn't want to play with Steph or whatever. But like he was 100% right. He said like I want to win, and 2 small guards cannot win together.
Yeah.
And like looking back at it, like the reason Clay and Steph have won so many rings together as a backcourt is because like Clay's 6'6" and Steph is like 6'3", 6'2", whatever.
They complement each other perfectly.
Yeah. If you look at every single season since like pretty much like go like all the way through the decade if you want. But like, just like Danny Green, or like I'm just naming stuff for the back of my head. But like Danny Green, Lowry, like the 2019-20 team was I think Danny Green and who was I don't remember the Lakers, KCP.
Yeah, I think it was KCP.
Oh no, sorry, Rondo.
Oh yeah,
doesn't matter.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But like basically, like if you go down the list, it's always like a 6'3" and a 6'6", or a 6'3" and a 6'5". Like it's always combo. That's where like unless Poole like takes a step on the defensive side, I don't see him like starting in the near future. That's where like that was the biggest challenge that we had with the depth lineup, the new depth lineup. And I feel like that'll carry on until like Poole takes a leap on defense, in my opinion. But like way past like after like Steph, Clay, Draymond like retire or whatever, like I think what like Lacob Myers are going for is like a Poole, Moody, Wiggins, I guess. Wiggins, Kaminga, and Wiseman lineup with like PBJ and Rollins like off the bench. Because that allows like
how long away would that lineup be, you think?
It's pretty much like until Steph says I'm like playing, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because there's no way Steph's like coming over the bench.
Yeah, I can see that. But the thing, hey, even a 40-year-old Steph can probably come off the bench and give you couple threes a game just because of his ability to shoot the ball. But is Steph going to want to play that long? Who knows?
I don't know, man. I think he can. I think Steph, believe it or not, I think with the way this roster is constructed, he could easily go from being 30. I mean, he can go from being 35-6 to easily 15-10. He could easily go do that. Like, with Wiseman as his role man now. I don't know, man. It's like
the hardest thing is going to be keeping everyone together because we've almost drafted too good. It's crazy to say that, but we've got so many young guys that look to be upcoming stars. And, we've mentioned Moody, we've mentioned Kuminga, Wiseman, Poole already got his bag. PBJ looks to be really good and to be a steal. How long can you keep all of them while you still pay Wiggins, Clay, Dray, Steph? That's going to be rough. Yeah, the salary cap's going to go up. And, going back to what we mentioned earlier, it's going to take some sacrifices. And one of them that I think we might see is James Wiseman, who he's going into his third year. So next year, I believe, is his last year on his deal. And I think it's like $12 million for a team option. I think next year we see him take a contract kind of like the Steph contract he took when he had those ankle issues. Like a 4 for $44 million, I think is what it was.
Yeah, but like with inflation for sure.
Yeah. So if Wiseman takes something like that is, he's kind of banking on himself to, I guess, contribute to the team and get the big bag his next time up, while also the Warriors are kind of taking a risk on him because who knows what his health is going to do. It's hard for bigs to stay healthy. But and I don't know. I could see Wiseman doing that. He seems like the kind of guy that will take that sacrifice.
I hope so, man. I could see it as well. But it's just like they all young, but being around like this culture, it probably can really just like, all right, our first year here, we got a ring, man. Like, just off of sacrifices for real.
Yeah.
This team's built on sacrifices. This dynasty is built on sacrifices. So how can we continue it? Let's continue sacrificing. Let's continue setting the standard so other good players who want to come here. Stuff like that. Let's become that. Let's reach that point and where we being mentioned with the Lakers and the Celtics. Like let's get to that point.
We could really get that way. We have Steph, Clay, Dray, and Iggy. Like we can replace all four of them and their roles to this organization. It's a little bit of a stretch to say that right now, but we have the guys that can step in and be that big of a focal point for our franchise. And it would be awesome to see them do while having the OGs take the back role. Kind of let Steph, Clay, and Dre ride the bench for a little bit, and let the young guys take over, and while the old guys ride out into the sunset with the new guys leading them. I think that can really happen. And something I was gonna say, like, I kind of lost my train of thought, but the best thing about this is that the Warriors control their own destiny with the way they drafted, because you get the restricted contracts. So
bird rights.
Yeah, you get the bird rights, you get the ability to match the deals. So really, they've got all the choices they want.
That's a great thing.
Yeah, man. like Bob and Joe, they can do whatever they want. If Moody in 3 years goes and gets a 4-year, $120 million offer sheet from somewhere, well, the Warriors can trade off somebody else and keep Moody, or they can say, hey, Moody, we appreciate you. Go get your bag somewhere else. Like, they have the flexibility to do all that and make the decisions as it goes.
Right. I feel like that's another thing that, like, Lacob, in my opinion, doesn't get enough credit for by our own fan base. Actually, I feel like what he's done, like like the deepest, like uh, what's it called, like the deepest like luxury tax in like NBA history or whatever, and now it's like it's going to hit like almost 500 million,
Yeah.
which is a ridiculous amount because the next closest, I believe, it's the Clippers or at 200 something. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, it's
But,
gonna like double the record.
Yeah, pretty much. So I feel like that deserves like a tremendous amount of credit on like both like Joe Lacob and like Peter Guber's part. But at the same time, you're right. Like I feel like right now, all like the players based on like what like Moody, Kaminga, Wiseman, all of them saw from like just like Jordan getting his back is that like the franchise is there for them, right? It's ready for them to like be like the next iteration of like the new gen Warriors or whatever. And just a matter of them like putting in the work, like helping elevate like the brand of basketball pretty much. As long as they like put in the work, like as long as they put in the work, like Jacob and Goober will probably pay up. Because I don't think that's gonna end unless like the other owners like start something in this next CBA or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be getting too financial.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of like groundbreaking things that the Warriors will probably be doing next year with the salary cap. And hey, the Wiggins taking a little bit of a pay cut is gonna be such a big thing that goes unnoticed, really, because I think it's what if you spend every dollar that the Warriors spend is like multiplied by 6.5 or 7.5, something like that. Yeah,
I think it's 7.
So like if Wiggins taking probably 5 to 10 million, it could have been honestly 10 million less a year because he could have got 35 a year probably.
I think I read like 12 million. Like,
yeah, so multiply that by 7.
Almost 100 mil.
Yeah, that's crazy. And yeah, so let's kind of look into this upcoming year. The starting lineup. So you pretty much run it back with the same guys. Steph is Steph. Clay is going to be, I think, better than what he was last year. You know, he had the rust still, as he should have, missing 2 years pretty much. Wiggins, we hope, takes yet another step. He looked incredible last year, pretty much the entire season. All-star Wiggs. Draymond, as we've said, bit of a question mark, but it's hard to doubt his ability once the game comes on. Like, he's going to show up and he's going to step up. Yeah, you're probably going to have a handful of games where, you know, he might just get frustrated and get a technical foul or something and get out the game, and it might cost the Warriors. But hey, you live and die with him. He's going to give you those. He's going to give you some games where it's rough and you're going to be pissed off and you're like, hey, trade Dray. But then he's also going to give you some games where, yeah, it's not going to show up in the box score, but if you watch it, you're going to be like, that dude is incredible. And he won us that game with his play. So you have them, and then you have Iron Man Loon at the 5.
The greatest screener of all time.
Yes. And the best defender of Joel Embiid in the NBA. He locks him down every time, I swear. So yeah, that's our starting lineup. Any concerns from y'all?
Not really concerns. Just like I want to highlight like some like things that like me personally I'm gonna be looking for. Steph's just gonna be Steph. Like I don't know what else to expect from him at this point.
Yeah, there's nothing else to say.
Yeah,
he gets
much
better somehow.
Yeah. But Clay, like the last like preseason game, if you guys noticed, is like the shooting form, because Clay's known for his textbook form, right, in the league. Like
prettiest shot ever.
Yeah, like I don't think anybody else like comes close other than like maybe like Michael Porter Jr. Like
yeah,
even then, like that form looked like I don't know if you guys like noticed this last year, but like it looked kind of off because he should like lean a little bit and that shoot it or something like that. But based on like this preseason game, I know it's like a very small sample size, but he's going straight up and like straight down.
And that's how he was during his best times.
Yeah, exactly. So like what I'm personally going to be looking for is like that aspect of his offense. And then on like defense, I just want him to like slowly like build on to like whatever he did like after game 4. Because
Yeah.
after that, like he started like locking down like Jalen Brown pretty effectively in my opinion.
Yeah, what we saw with Clay's defense, I think, was him kind of getting his legs back, and he didn't want to. Those probably he was probably a little bit cautious, and it was probably a mental thing where he didn't want to go 100% on defense at all times. And you could also see it with his offense where he didn't really fit into the flow of the game sometimes. But hey, it's Klay Thompson. He earned his right to honestly put up bad shots. He's Klay. Like, he can do that. But with his defense, I think what you could see, one moment that stuck out to me was, I think it was game 1 against the Grizzlies. The one where he locked down Ja on like the drive and forced Ja to make a terrible layup that like didn't even hit rim, I don't think. Like whenever Klay needs to, he can turn on the lockdown defense and step up and make a play. And I think this year he might be more consistent with that because he had the full offseason of like no injury concerns. He was actually healthy. He got to relax some with the championship. I think he's going to be great. And it seems like they're still being cautious with him, and I agree with that decision. And we can do that since we have the young talent around us. Like, Poole can start games. Let Poole start 20. Let Poole start 30. He's got the contract. Why not? But when Klay's out there, I think he's going to look better than last year. And honestly, he might look as good as he ever has.
True,
man. My concerns is I'm concerned for the other opposing teams, man. Not worried one bit. I feel as though this is an easy 60-win game, 60-win team. We're going to pace through it. I think honestly our starters don't play more than 32 minutes this season. I feel as though
I could see that really.
This offense is about to click on all types of levels. Like, now that they done won it all, the confidence is there. I think we were about to see Wiggins locked in like we never seen him. Like, that playoff run, that 16-game sample, we were about to see that for a whole 82 games now. Because
Wiggins also rebounding.
Yeah,
I feel like that's something.
Yeah, I think he can easily become like a 9 rebound per game. Like, he can do that. And
like, he has the ability. He really does.
Yeah, and with I want Wiggins to get a defensive team. I need him to get a defensive team. I want him to get his name out there.
His odds are like plus 25,000 to win DPOI. I don't really know why. Because he's on the best. He's on probably the best team in the NBA, and he might be the best defender on the team this year.
Yeah, hopefully. I want him to, man. I want him to get that because he's been disrespected, and it's just been great seeing everybody switch back up on him.
Yeah, and it's even like after he had a great first half of the season and he was named an all-star starter, people constantly clowned him. Yet he just went out there and continued to ball, continued to be Wiggins, not care what people said. He's just Wiggins. Like, we can say that literally about everybody on this team. They're just Steph. They're just Klay. He's just Wiggins. Like, he's going to be him, and he's not going to change, and that's something that I think is really valuable.
Yeah. Then he said his goal was like all defense, like first or second. So as long as he's working towards that, like improving on the rebounding, I'm good with Wiggins.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I want Looney to play. No, I need Looney. Yeah, I want three players on the defensive team. I want Looney, Draymond, and Wiggins on the defensive team this year. 4 All-Stars, 3 players on the defensive team.
Oh, how many on the All-NBA?
All-NBA. I think only Steph makes it. I don't think nobody, because I feel Steph is going to be Steph, but this offense is going to be clicking so well. It's just going to be like, we can't, like, I think, like, honestly, we only might really see two people. Nah, I think we only see one 20 point per game scorer this season outside of Steph.
I
And
think JP is gonna be close.
yeah, I think JP is going to be 19-ish.
I
But
think Wiseman's going to be up there too, because with
yeah,
Wiseman, we can come back to it when we talk about second unit, but he kind of just like walks into points because
Yeah.
of like Steph, Clay, Jordan, and Moses, pretty much.
yeah, this team is. That's what I'm saying. Like we got so many players we got scorers who can easily go get you 20. We got
True.
3 players who can go get you 30. Wiggins, yeah, he'll get you it, but it's not like common, like because of how this offense is set up. But he can go get you 32.
Any given night, Steph, Clay, or JP could go off for 30, 35, 40. And
Yeah,
like
and
it's gonna be crazy to see. Like I think the points per game this year go from Steph obviously leading, then I think it's JP, Clay, Wiggins, and then honestly it might be Wiseman.
yeah, it might be. Yeah,
Wiseman might.
Wiseman most likely.
Wiseman will probably beat Wiggins in my opinion. I don't think Wiggins still take that many shots because Wiggins he said in his like pressers that he wants to be like a lockdown defender and like Joku, like what you're talking about, like 4 all stars and stuff like that. The reason why we don't get that nod is because of the Warriors curse. Like it's just a Warriors tax that like they have to pay. That's why Wiggins didn't get any all defense votes last year. That's
Yeah.
why I think like Gary Payton got less than like Chris Paul, et
Yeah.
cetera, et cetera. That's why like the media doesn't like us, so that's fine.
GP should have been an easy all defensive player.
Or
Yeah,
like at least like more votes than like Chris Paul.
Yeah, but it's all about the name.
True.
yeah, but
It's all about the title. Then
now that they done did it on the biggest stage though, I think that was it put everybody on notice.
Yeah.
true. That's
So
why I think Wiggins needs to make all defense. What about Draymond? Where do you guys like? I see a deep season from him.
I think his scoring, I think it honestly goes up a bit.
Wiggins.
Draymond.
Draymond.
Oh yeah, scoring. I think he get close to 9 or he might get 10. But I think he's betting on himself. I think he's been working.
I think he's gonna kind of look back at last season and see some of the opportunities that he had, and people always complain about how he would get the ball at the top of the key and just hold it for 2 to 3 seconds while Steph ran from baseline to baseline and went around a screen and got the ball. I think Dre's going to take advantage of that a little bit more. Now, obviously, most of the time he's going to still wait and let the play develop because that's our offense. Like he's been doing that. He was doing that even when he was a decent shooter. Like to some extent, he wasn't doing it as much. That top of the key, he used to hit that thing consistently, but I think this year he's going to be able to get to the rim a little more. The 3 ball is probably going to be about the same, hopefully a little bit better. But it's hard to really expect a lot from Dray scoring. His value is going to come from him putting up a 6 point, 9 rebound, 8 assist, 1 block, 1 steal game, and people will look at that and be like, oh, that's average. He's a role player while he's out there being the most effective player on the floor.
What I'm looking for from Draymond is like, especially in the lineup, I think they ran this in the first Tokyo game, but like it was like Draymond, Steph, and Wiseman, with Steph being on ball, because Steph has like his own gravity. Everybody knows that. But then I think he was in a pick and roll with Wiseman, and then I don't remember if it was Gaffer or Porzingis. One of them like did a good job with like the help defense with Wiseman, and then Steph ended up passing the ball to Draymond in the corner, and he knocked it down. I want more plays like that from Draymond. Just like hit the corner threes. That's it.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to hit like the one from like, just like he doesn't have to hit like Steph range threes or whatever. Just hit the corner threes and like I'll be happy. Along with like a defensive masterclass.
Yeah. And I think you're going to get the defense from Dray more times than not. As we
True.
know, some games he's going to go out there and look a little checked out. And people will go on Twitter and say it's because of clutch, but that's always stupid to me. And then our last starter, Looney, we expect what we expect from him. He's going to give you not great numbers offensively. He might put up 5 points.
Oh, wait.
Six.
Can I give me a comment about Looney this season?
Yeah.
I want to say something. Hot take. Looney is leading the league in rebounds this season. You heard it here first. I believe in Looney too. Looney is
agree with that.
leading in rebounds.
I agree with that. He said so. Okay, one thing I've like learned about Looney is like I'm never doubting his goals again.
Yeah.
This man went from like an injury-prone player to like a dude who was Iron Man for the whole season and led like the league in rebounding and during the playoffs, I think. So like in his presser, like recently, he basically talked about how he wants to lead like the league in offensive rebounding, especially. And I genuinely feel like he can do it. He knows like the angles to do it. He's put up like 22-point games, like 22 rebound games before. So he has like the experience too, not just a matter of like being consistent with it. So I agree with you, Joku.
My thing with Looney is, it's like, how are you so good? Like, I'll be smiling watching him just be out there screening, getting boards. Like, yo, he's so good.
The only thing that might hold him back from achieving that goal is just lack of minutes, because I think Wiseman's going to play that much. Now, Looney might lead the league in like rebounds per 36 or something. I could see that, because if Looney plays more than 20-25 minutes a game in the regular season, I think I'd be kind of surprised.
Me too. Yeah,
I see him topping out right about 25, maybe 30, depending on, if Wiseman has an off night or if he gets a rest or something like that, or if it's like a big matchup against Embiid or honestly maybe against the Lakers with AD.
I see it. I see like 25 minutes at least, because I feel like he's shown enough that like, to me, he's like not like a guy we need to be like super careful about. You know what I mean? Like take like extra precautions about.
Yeah.
Like rest him more than like the other stars or anything like that. Like I think like 25 points should be like a good enough target, but like I get what you mean.
Yeah. So let's move on to the second unit. It's really hard to, I guess, specify exactly who the second unit is, because it's more like 7 to 8 guys who are going to be playing in different rotations and different lineups and stuff like that. But I think like a clear second unit, you'll have Jordan Poole, obviously. DiVincenzo, I think you got to throw in there.
The two?
Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, and I guess Wiseman. Or maybe you throw in Green and then Wiseman.
I feel like Green will be
Kuminga
out of the rotation.
You think so?
A little bit, because Green is more of like a break-in case of emergency kind of guy. But I also see lineups where maybe like Dante's at the 1, JP's starting sometimes. Clay might have like a rest here or something, because like you're still bringing him back from like his like basically being cautious with him. So so JP plays with Steph, Draymond, like the other starters. You run a Dante at the 1, Moses at the 2, Kuminga at the 3, Michael at the 4, and Wiseman at the 5, because that adds like spacing to the lineup as well. Because Jamichael's like a 38%, I think, from 3 career shooter.
And just us having this conversation shows the depth of this team, because we're looking at our 11th man being either Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga, or J. Michael Green probably. While on most teams, they're probably the seventh, sixth man, honestly, maybe even starters on some teams. And there's going to be nights where one of these guys doesn't play more than 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be crazy to see, but I think that's the main 11 we'll see. I think other ones on the roster, we've got Ron Rollins, who I think y'all are kind of bigger on him than I am. I don't really know a ton about him, honestly. He's shown some potential. I don't know if he's going to be a big part of the team this year, but what do y'all think about him?
I haven't really paid much attention, to be honest with you, but I'm not that high on him. I watched him, but I don't see like long-term potential, but he can get to his spots pretty easily though. That's one thing I like about him.
Yeah, he's a backup one of the future. What I've seen from his games is like two things. Is like midi is beautiful. Like Joku said, he can get to spots and knock it down. For these, the second of all, like his wingspan. He has like a 7-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
So that allows him to like be and like he's like a really, really good defender. Like that was his thing at Toledo.
So do
like
you think
he's
he can build into a like almost Sean Livingston for the future?
Sort of. I think like not this year. This year, him and PBJ will probably spend most of their time in the G.
Yeah.
But like in the future, I see it. It's just a matter of like him working on his three ball. I think Sean's era was also different. Like he was on Clippers and all that stuff. But with Rollins, like I feel like that's something like he needs to develop more. But again, like his like form's like really good. It's just a matter of like kind of like keeping up with the work and stuff. Like I've heard a lot of things about him from like Toledo and like just like his AAU circuit and stuff like that. So
yeah, it was an interesting decision to give him one of the roster spots. Whenever he was drafted, I kind of expected him to be a two-way guy, but for him to be a second round pick and get guaranteed, I think that shows what the Warriors believe in him. And honestly, it's hard to question their decisions because of what we've seen from them the past few years. Yeah, they've had some slight misses. I guess Smiley, the Warriors legend. Yeah. Jacob Evans, Damian Jones, I guess, who I think is starting for the Lakers somehow. if that shows you anything about that team. But yeah, Rollins and PBJ being our 12th and 13th guys, like they're not going to give you really much this year. It's mostly going to be an 11-man rotation. And honestly, I think we'll see 11 play every night. Unless one of them's out with injury, then we'll see 10 or 9 or whatever, depending on who's all out there. But if the entire roster is healthy, I think we see 11 every night. And but having PBJ and Rollins as the end of bench guys who they seem to have a bright future. They don't necessarily play into much this year. You know, I could see PBJ getting a little bit of a run in like specialty roles because his shot seems to be like way better than people expected. Like he was hitting that thing consistently during the preseason. Yeah, it's preseason, but what I kind of envision him as is like, think of what JTA was to the team the past couple years, where it might be 15 seconds left in the second quarter and there's a dead ball. So we put in one and tell him, hey, go play defense for a little bit or something like that, where if there's 15 seconds and we get the ball and we're like, hey, PBJ, go play the 4, go play the small 5 and just put out our best. Yeah. Put out a 5 of Steph, JP, Clay, Wiggins, and PBJ. Tell them go get a shot. And I think that could work.
Yep, I could see that.
With Rollins, though, I don't really think he'll play much this year unless, a Steph injury happens. We hope that don't happen.
God forbid, but we know how Steph is. We know how these old guys are.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Steph and Dray, they've constantly been getting injured each year. So I wouldn't say I don't see him getting any run because I know how Steph is. So I think he'll probably play like a couple games, show some flashes here and there, and then go back to the G League.
Yeah, and that's really all we need from him this year.
Yeah.
And he doesn't seem like your normal rookie, especially one that's a second-round pick. He kind of seems like a vet while, yeah, he's only 20. And did he play 2 years of college ball?
I'm not sure.
Rollins.
I think he played 2, if I'm not wrong.
So yeah, he's not exactly a one and done player or nothing. So he's kind of got an old school game to him, as we talked about with the midi and everything. So I think he might be able to step in and give you 10 minutes if there is an injury, and we need that from him. And I don't think he'll make many big mistakes or anything. He might be it's hard to compare him to like Nico Mannion, maybe. Nico had his ups and downs, but I honestly think Nico wasn't as bad as people said.
Yeah, I like Nico Mannion. I didn't think he was bad. He was just
I feel like Nico is more of a traditional point guard. Ryan is more of like I think like kind of like Drew Holiday, kind of like point guard.
Yeah.
Because he's small, but like I think he averaged like 17 points, 7 boards, and like 3 steals a game.
Yeah.
So like very defensive minded, but yeah, like I'm pretty high on him. Just like maybe like he won't play this year for sure, but I'm excited to watch like G League games for like him and BBJ for sure.
What was your assessment of him and his preseason defense? Do you think he looked like good enough to compete defensively right now?
I think he improved a lot, and like overtime, of course. I don't remember like his first game, but the last game against the Nuggets, if you remember like the second quarter run or whatever, reached the second quarter where we started like kind of like tearing apart pretty much. But that was like he was like really on top of like I think it was MPJ, because MPJ also like, this is like not Warriors related, but like based on like Nuggets or whatever, like the teams I've seen, his handle seems like kind of weak this year for some reason. But so I don't know if it like factored into this, but like Rollins was like had like quick hands. He was like getting like steals. He was like going up and down the floor really quickly, keeping up with like the offense and stuff like that. So it improved over time, but like I feel like there's like 3-pointer still needs like a lot of work.
So could how I mentioned PBJ being like a shooting specialist, he could be like a defending specialist for our guard position, especially since it's kind of weak. Where if you have that less than a shot clock situation and a dead ball, you throw him out there with, the better defenders and tell him be aggressive, a little bit like a GP2.
I think I see more of like a Quindary Witherspoon type defender, and like I feel like that also factored into like why we let Q go.
Yeah.
But
and one more guy, I kind of just forgot to mention him, Iggy. We didn't really even mention him with the rotation because I don't think we expect him to really play. He'll probably find a way out there somehow just because he's Iggy. But he'll still be there, and it's never bad to have a vet, even if he is 39 years old now. It's never bad to have a guy like Iggy like be on your team whenever he's needed. Yeah, he's not Udonis Haslem where he's literally worthless. Iggy can still give you a little bit. It's not going to be long, and it's not going to be anything exceptional. But hey, if we need a stop at a big game, I'll count on Iggy to get out there and do the classic Iggy rip. You know.
What I'm looking for from like Iggy this year is his interaction with good, especially like on a lot of like possessions or whatever. Like Kaminga kind of got like frustrated last year,
Yeah.
and Iggy was there to like calm him down. Like even during like preseason, I think like game one he was like Kaminga's like worst game I think, whatever. And Iggy was like, "Yo, like I told him like after the fact that like your job this year is literally to like find, like one like star or whatever and like just like lock him up." So like I'm just looking for like more of like those kinds of interaction between like him and like the young guys.
Yeah, and I think that's going to happen, and he pretty much knows that's his role on the team is to be here for that. And
Yeah,
oddly enough, one of the things that he said was a reason of him coming back was because of Dante, and
true.
that's someone that we haven't talked about, but I think he's going to be the player that after this year, teams around the league are going to look and be like, why did he sit around on the free agent market that long and get paid that little to go play for that team?
I think Dante's like a proven winner at every single stage.
Yeah.
He won like high school championships. He won in college, like Villanova. I think
Yeah.
he said the first one he was injured for, but then he felt like really bad about it. So like 2 years later, like he was like the main guy.
Yeah.
to lead
Wherever
them
he
to, like,
goes,
the
he's
win.
just in winning cultures.
Yeah, exactly. And like that kind of happened with him in like the league also, right? Like 2 years ago when the Milwaukee won, he was injured,
Yeah.
and now he has like a chance to like kind of like make up for it. So I don't know, man. Lots of depth.
I'm really excited from him. Hold up. Something happened on my account. Y'all there?
Yeah.
I don't know what just happened. It just popped up saying I was signed out. That's weird. I'm really excited for Dante though. I think he's going to be great. And anyone else you want to talk about in the second unit a little more in depth too? You know, we kind of went over the young guys earlier and what their impacts are going to be.
I'm just excited to see these young guys, man. That's really all, man. They is what's really going to make me feel that excitement again for this team. Even though we got Steph, the original team, but I just feel as though they're about to bring a different dynamic to this team.
Yeah, they're gonna make the 82 game grind like interesting because we kind of know. Yeah, if they weren't here, I'd still watch for Steph, Dray, and Clay. But in a game where we might be up 30, or for some reason we're down 30, we're still gonna be tuned in watching because of these guys.
Exactly.
We got like a preview of that too, right? Like last year with the Spurs and the Heat game.
Yes,
you guys remember?
Yes.
And like now, like all those guys, along with Wiseman, they get Wiseman back, and they have like a whole like healthy offseason to like build on. So I'm like super stoked to watch like that second unit blossom this year.
Yeah,
you get
for
like
sure.
regular rotation minutes.
Yeah,
and then we gotta realize like they're going to continue building this chemistry, like more years, more moments together. Like this is not just going to be like a 1 year rotation like last year where we had Gary and Otto in there down they out. Like these guys playing together and they going to continue playing together. Like it's going to be amazing. What bench unit is going to have that dynamic on it? Like
we're looking at a team that has 9 players playing this year that might be around for at least 3+ years. Like honestly, we really do. And you can even throw in PBJ and Rollins into that, who might get a little run this year and will be a bigger factor in maybe even next year or the years coming. You've got Dante and Jamichael, who they might stick around, but they're probably going to be the guys that get replaced for the young guys that step up. Kuminga might play so much that Jamichael goes elsewhere because he won't have a lot of playing time. Same with Moody, something like that. But they're guys that those are both guys that fit the culture, and they're just good, solid 1-year vets.
But I think we got Dante for 2 years, and I
Yeah.
think he got a player option.
Yeah.
Do we got a player option or a team option?
I think it is player, but he might just play. He might play so good where he just goes out and gets the bag elsewhere, or he could just buy into the system again. Who knows? Because he really hasn't had a payday, so hopefully he can, kind of get it like Gary or Otto, which Otto didn't really get much this year from Toronto, but still. I'm extremely excited though. This pod has kind of got a little long. We're I think over an hour and a half right now, but hey, it's the season preview. It's going to be long.
True.
Each episode, I'm hoping to bring out one a week. It might be on a different day each week, depending on when the Dubs play. If we play on a Thursday night, I might record on Friday night. If we play on a Friday night, might record Thursday. Who knows? It might be a different day, but one a week is my plan. Both of you guys, y'all are both welcome every time. I'm gonna give the opportunity to everybody else on Twitter too. Hit me up. But before we go, predictions for the season. What y'all thinking?
You go first.
All right. I'm going with 55 wins. I think we'll probably take like a couple losses just because like we're the Warriors. Like we play stupid sometimes.
Yeah.
And those losses will probably be like the most like devastating. Like the Pacers lost last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, like all that matters is like what we end up as. And like I think like this roster has like a chance to repeat. Everyone just needs to buy in, put in the work, and then we'll see.
Yeah. So what's your prediction for championship, you think?
Yeah, for sure. That's like the ceiling.
It's honestly it's hard not to say that because we saw what we did last year, which it kind of felt a year early. We won 3 in a row and we went to, or not 3 in a row. We won 3 in 5 years and we had that core set in stone, but last year I don't think a lot of people really expected it because we were coming off that play-in year and we still had guys that might not have been question marks to us necessarily, but to the national stage, a lot of them were still question marks and they stepped up. And now those same guys that were question marks last year are getting big contracts and are known commodities around the league. And I think this year we win 55-60 because even those down games from the stars, the young guys are just going to see that opportunity and get that much more excited. Some of the losses will come just hopefully because of rest. I want to take losses because of rest. We've seen, and this organization knows better than anyone in the league, that it doesn't really matter about a game on November 20th. It matters what happens from April to June. Like that's what we're playing for. And what we see in the 82 games, I think it's going to be special come them last 15 or 20. I think that March and April span, that's going to be a special team. And I think it carries over to the playoffs, and I really think we win it all again. I really do.
Crazy take I'm about to have. We are going to win about 68 games. Just off the strength of these young fellas we got. Like I'm that invested into them. Yes, these starters are going to be the starters we know, the starters that just won us the NBA champion and embarrassed everybody. But the fact that we got these youngins, man, and the fact that they could be rotation pieces on any other team, they could be starters. But they're on the Warriors. but they got so much talent that we about to have one of the best benches of all time. That's how great this bench is. And I just don't see us. This is the best bench we've ever had, ever.
Honestly, yeah.
We never had a bench who can everybody, like, we didn't have a bench where, like, 2-3 players can go get us 15, 20 points. But now we got Poole coming off the bench who get us 30, Wiseman who could walk into 15, 20 any night, Kuminga who can walk into 15 any night. Like, this team is special, and that core, it runs, man. That core runs, and they're going to do what they're going to do. But I honestly just see, like, that All-Star break is where we just dominate, like, and we just run through the league. And I say about 15 games in is where we start resting. We start resting up our players, getting nights off. And we just get these Moody, Kuminga, Wiseman, we get them more ready for this playoff run we about to have, because they are all going to play a huge factor in this playoff run, especially those three. Like, those three are going to be huge. You got to, once Wiggins get tired, you subbing in Kuminga to guard the best player. That's what I'm envisioning. I'm envisioning that. Then with Clay, he get tired, we get Moody in. Like, Dray get tired, we get, like, it's going to be amazing, man.
Yeah, and we've seen what it takes to win 73 games.
Yeah.
And I think this team could win 65 plus, but do it in a completely different way, where they can have games where they don't rely on the stars of the team and just get, the young guys who have all the talent in the world to go out there and step up in a game which usually teams that rest their starters wouldn't win, but just because of the depth we have and, the strength in our numbers, we go out there and can just straight up beat a team. So honestly, getting 65 plus would not shock me.
I just feel like what we're going to see from that bench unit is just going to be spectacular. Like, we're going to look back and we're going to have the league looking back and, like, how do they have, like, them, like, on the bench? Like, that's how amazing that bench is going to be. Like,
yeah, it's crazy that for a team that has Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins as starters, that I'm more excited to watch the bench this year.
Yes. It's just like I have never felt this way. Like, every season it's always okay.
Yeah, I didn't go into a season wanting to watch Sean Livingston and Mo Buckets or David West. I love them guys, but they weren't the reason I watched. But there's going to be nights where all I want to do is watch JP and Big Jim go out there and get buckets.
Thanks. Give me that pick and roll all night. High pick and roll, big wise, man.
So who's y'all's I guess favorite players you want to watch this year? Mine is JP and Big Jim. It really is.
Mine is obviously Kuminga, man.
Yeah.
I got my stock in him is, like, to the roof, man. I felt like, yeah, he's about to take that elite where people could be like questioning, is this the next all-time great? I'm going to do that. Yes, I see the potential in him. And obviously JP, like, I can see him easily getting 19 on 48% shooting, 39% from 3, and about 9. I'm saying he's getting 95% from the line too. Like,
he's dang near automatic.
I believe in him, and those two, they're going to be so huge for this bench unit and Wiseman.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, mine are Moses, Kuminga, Wiseman, JP. Pretty much like the second unit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Moody too, man. I keep
and
forgetting.
then on the starters.
Yeah, Moody's so underrated. He really is.
Yeah.
And then on the starters, Clay. I feel like people are hating on Clay for no reason.
Yeah.
I need him to shut them up.
Yeah, I really agree with that. All right, guys. Well, I think that's about it for this one.
For sure, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this was awesome. There's nothing else I want to talk about this much. Like I've been this passionate about this team for going on 10 years now, and starting up this podcast in June and talking all the sports and kind of going through the championship run a little bit. It was fun, but to have this platform and be able to go through the 82 game grind and hopefully 100+ game grind of the season this year. It's gonna be a fun journey. I'm really excited for it. If you're listening still, share it on social media. We're everywhere. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Dirty Boot Sports. We're on YouTube as well. Don't post a lot there, but we do a variety of things. We talk literally every sport you can really think of. We got a guy that's even a golf expert. Like we do a lot of stuff here. We do pop culture stuff too, movie reviews, everything like that. So check us out. Yeah. We're just a little small starting podcast from Louisiana. We're trying to make something happen. And yeah, hopefully this podcast helps us grow a little more, get to the Bay Area and hey, even Philly. We're everywhere. Dub Nation's worldwide.
Thanks for having us, bro.
Thanks for having us, man.
All right. Dub Nation, baby. We're here.
See ya. Happy ring ceremony.
Yes, sir.